In that case, I call to order the July 1st, 2020 meeting of the Monroe County Board of Zoning Appeals. Is Larry here to take roll call?
Actually, I'll step in tonight to do that, so I'll go ahead and get started. Mary Beth Kazmarchuk,
I'm here.
William Hosea, I think you're on mute, William.
Here.
Great. Vicky Sorensen.
Here.
And then Bernie Garatas is not here, and Margaret Clements.
Here.
Great. We have 4 members present and a quorum.
Okay. You doing the introduction of the evidence too?
Yep.
All right. Take it away.
Okay, so tonight's introduction of evidence includes Monroe County Comprehensive Plan as adopted and amended, Monroe County zoning ordinance as adopted and amended, Monroe County subdivision control ordinance as adopted and amended, the Board of Zoning Appeals rules of procedure as adopted and amended, and the case is advertised and scheduled for the hearing on tonight's agenda.
Okay.
I will call the roll. William Hosea,
Here.
Vicky Sorensen,
Here.
Margaret Clements,
Yes.
and Mary Beth Kazmarchuk.
Yes.
Okay.
Approval of the agenda. Did we just do that?
Just the evidence, so we can do.
Okay,
the
that's
agenda as
definitely.
well.
Okay. Approval of the agenda time.
Okay.
I move that we approve the agenda.
I second that.
Okay. Vicky Sorensen,
I approve.
Margaret Clements,
Yes.
Mary Beth Kazmarchuk,
Yes.
and William Hosea.
Yes.
Okay.
I move that we approve the minutes of the December 4th, 2019 and the January 8th, 2020 meeting, if that's possible.
Don't we have to have at least 3 members to do that were in the meeting?
Yes, for
I
both.
believe we do. Yes, so we can't approve those then tonight.
Was William here for the January 8th one?
I was not.
Okay. Then no, we cannot approve those tonight. Okay, well, let's move on to no administrative business, no old business. So let's move straight to new business. And that's going to be case number 2005-VAR-25A and 25B. Rebecca Payne, take it away.
Hey, thank you and good evening. This petition has 2 components, a request for a front yard setback, as well as a request for a side yard setback. The petitioner would like to extend his existing attached garage to add a 3rd bay. And the petitioner indicated he would like this new bay in order to store a trailer, among other things. So this property is located at 5021 West Autumn Circle, and it consists of approximately 0.64 acres. Currently, it is zoned low density residential, and adjacent parcels are primarily zoned the same. Next slide. Looking at site conditions here, there are no known karst features on the site. There is FEMA floodplain to the north of the parcel, but the petitioner is not impacted by this floodplain. And as far as slope goes, there is slope present on the site, but the proposed garage addition is not located in slope. Next slide. The petition site is located within the designated community plans designation. Okay, so background. The petitioner submitted an application for construction of an 18-foot by 30-foot garage addition. He chose not to provide a professional survey, which we had requested at the time of filing. So using our best and most recent data, staff determined that his proposed garage addition would encroach into the front yard setback by 7 feet, and he would encroach into the side yard by 2 feet. And of particular concern on that side yard is a 15-foot utility easement that is recorded in the neighborhood plat. So looking at this table, you can see that in this zone, required for the front yard setback is 50 feet from the center line. And what he has with the proposed garage is 43 feet. And then the side yard setback, required setback is 10 feet from the boundary line. And then the proposed, he has 8. Okay, next slide, Jackie. So again, without a survey, staff spent a lot of time sort of looking closely at the measurements. On the left, you can see an illustration of the proposed addition, which is boxed out in red. Again, it's 18 feet by 30 feet. And by our calculations, he's only 43 feet from center line and 8 feet from the side yard. The right illustration here is a tool that we used to also support the need for a front yard setback. We essentially drew a buffer of 50 feet around the center line of West Autumn Circle. And so this illustration, I think, shows pretty well that the front yard, the front of the house is in the front yard setback. Okay, next slide. So I wanted to spend a moment looking at the side yard in more detail. We went through a exercise of georeferencing the plat map with our aerial photos. And you can, this is a crisper image of the plat, which essentially is laid over the aerials. And you can, if you can see on the side yard, so our parcel that we're studying here is 105. And you can see on the side yard there that the house looks very close to the utility easement, which is noted, like I said, in the recorded plat. So if the expansion is in the utility easement, then we'll have to take additional steps, or the expansion will need to be amended, because the goal is not to cover up a utility easement. So yeah, again, we are requesting a survey just to get assurance that that proposed garage expansion won't encroach into the utility easement. Next slide. Here are some site photos. On the left, we are looking at the front of the petitioner's house. On the right is a photo of, I'm standing in the middle of Autumn Circle and photographing the side yard and where the proposed garage bay is going to be located. Next slide. Again, these are just images showing on the right, we've got a shot of the house where the garage is going to go. And again, on the left, similar photo, trying to just show the side yard boundary there in relation to the existing house. Here we have what the site plan that the petitioner submitted. Next slide, Jackie. And as far as recommended motions, we would like to recommend approval or to approve the design standards variance to the front yard setback standard in Chapter 804 of the Monroe County zoning ordinance based on findings of fact. For the side yard setback, we are recommending approval with the following condition, that the petitioner submits a professional survey showing the proposed garage location and western boundary property, just to confirm construction location as it relates to the utility easement. Are there any questions?
Any questions for staff?
I have a question. Just from my own personal knowledge, can you explain how the professional survey works and all of this?
Sure. Well, they had the ability to stake out the coordinates and overlay the plat map, and so we will be able to see exactly how the buildings that are built, if they were built correctly or if they're built, over the boundary lines. So the professional surveys can provide us a level of detail that is hard to get without using their instruments.
Okay, is that a substantial cost to the homeowner?
I don't know what the costs are.
Location surveys run about $425.
Yeah, and I can say,
No, more than that.
Are they? Okay.
Yes, I'm David Drews.
Okay,
And,
sir, we'll give you a
one-
chance to talk just in a minute.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, so Mr. Drews has inquired about a survey. I believe that I can't recall what he said the estimate was, but one other factor that's concerning to him related to getting a survey is the timing. And evidently, there's quite a wait to get a surveyor out, which is just something he had noted to me.
So you requested a survey the first time and the homeowner declined, right?
Yes, so
No.
his neighbor to the west had a surveying company out who staked the property. And Mr. Drews submitted photographs of those stakes, which was helpful in some way, but there was no documentation. That the neighbor to the west chose not to get the survey results recorded on paper. It was literally just stakes in the yard, and we felt uncomfortable relying on those stakes for our purposes here.
Okay, so you're recommending approval, but on the condition that he go ahead and get the survey done.
Yeah, and as surveys go, we don't need a full-blown survey if it's at all possible, just to get the side yard surveyed. If that expedites things, makes it cheaper, we would be happy with that as well. We just had a hard time confirming the boundaries and the measurements, and with the utility easement, we're just very concerned.
Okay, that answers all of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions for staff?
I have a question. This is Vicki. I noticed that Straight Line Construction is going to do the project if it's approved. Would they be able to get a survey faster than an individual?
To my knowledge, they're not a surveying company.
Did they request it?
Pardon?
Did they request it and get it moving faster?
I'm not
Okay.
really sure, unfortunately. I'm not
And
sure
then
what their scope is or includes.
And my second question, in looking at the picture of the side of the house, would the garage impede view for the neighbor next to it in some way on trying to pull out of their drive?
I don't believe so. The neighbor was, of course, noticed and provided the details of the proposed garage addition, and we didn't hear anything from him one way or the other. So I took that to mean he's not concerned. And when I was out there on a site visit, I did wonder about that, but my sense was that it would not block any site.
Okay,
for
thank
that
you.
driveway.
Any further questions for staff? Okay, and I just wanted to mention, in my job, I ordered 2 surveys Monday, and we received them back yesterday, mortgage location reports. So I don't know what company he's checking with, but I just wanted to put that out there. Now, would the plaintiff like to speak? I'm sure he would. Mr. Drews?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Okay, I need to swear you in, sir. Can I swear you in, please?
Sure,
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
absolutely.
All right, thank you, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So if we look at these pictures and at the original plat clearly calls out that that side yard or that border of my property is a sewer line. The sewer line is if we're looking at the picture that's currently on the right and the one on the left, you can see that there's a tree line there that I put in. That's on my property. The sewer line has 3 manhole covers, which are very easily there. There's one that's directly adjacent to where the garage would go. If you look at your GIS site and your overlay, it shows the property line way to the right of the tree line. So my neighbor, the reason he got a survey, goes, "Hey, I went to the GIS site and all your trees are on my property." You see right down there on the top, sanitary sewer main. So that circle at the bottom and the circle in the center of the cul-de-sac, those are manhole covers. There's one also right in the middle that would be directly adjacent to where the garage is going. Anyway, back to he went, looked at the GIS site, said, "Your trees are on my property." I said, "No, they're not." He got a survey and the survey confirmed what the plat said and that the trees are on my property. So if you measure from that third manhole or the middle manhole cover, which would be adjacent to the garage, Rebecca measured it herself and got 37 feet from the manhole cover to my current home. So there is plenty of room, and the GIS site is not even close to being representative of the true property line. I would also like to speak on the utility easement. When we originally moved into this neighborhood and we bought the plot and built the home, the homes in this area were on a sewer pump station, which was down at the bottom of lot 104. And the access to the easement was through lot 105, my property, through the back of 104 to the pump station. That pump station was removed and we are connected directly to city sewer about 18 years ago. So there's absolutely no utilization of that easement or no need to anyway. It's all grown over now. There would be no access back to that area anyway. But as I said, the pump station is gone now and we're connected directly. I don't know who's responsible for updating that or how that gets taken care of, but those are a couple points that I wanted to make.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any question for the
Welcome.
petitioner? No questions for the petitioner? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak on behalf of the petition?
Could I mention one more thing? I forgot.
Sure, sir.
May I? Thank you. So when I did look into the survey, I wasn't opposed to getting a survey. It just didn't appear that it was necessary at the time because my neighbor had it done. But when I did look into the survey, I was quoted a price of anywhere from $500 to $1,500 and 4 to 6 weeks to get it done. The 500 would be just putting stakes out there like was done by my neighbor. Getting closer to the 1,500 is doing the whole lot and then actually showing the location of the home. I really don't understand what we would gain by just doing a sideline there, which would verify what has already been verified. It would be the same survey company and without showing the placement of the home. So to me, it would think if a survey had to be done to justify this, at minimum, it would have to show that side yard line plus the location of the home, which would increase the price of the survey. I'm done. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Or anyone else here would like to speak on behalf of the petitioner? Petition. Jackie, I'm assuming there's none. Anyone else? Anyone here would like to speak against the petition?
I don't see anyone.
Okay, thank you.
I will just make a quick note that not always are utilities placed correctly in the utility easements, but we've seen a couple instances where they're not built in the right spot, but just want to make that note for clarification. And I think Rebecca mentioned that he had a 15-foot utility easement. That utility easement is 7.5 foot on their side and 7.5 foot on the neighbor's side. So it's both sides have the utility easement.
Okay, that's good to know. So what kind of survey is it you're looking for? Just what, like a location report that places the house on the lot with the setbacks and stuff? Like we would use for more, what we call a mortgage location survey. Is that what
Yeah.
you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, my experience, those can be done pretty quickly. And I mean, they can range up from $400 to $600, depending on the company you get to do them. That's just my experience at work. So, anybody else have any questions for staff? Is anyone?
I have a comment or just out there for discussion. And it just seems to me to be a sensible approach to require a survey, especially because there are some unknowns. And even in this discussion, people have questioned, the accuracy of the GIS, et cetera. And especially because of that, a survey would be prudent, and the staff has recommended it. And that I just want to throw that out there on the table.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. In the matter of the Drew's front yard setback variance from chapter 804 and the item number 2005-VAR-25A and item number 2005-VAR-25B, which is the Drew's side yard setback variance from chapter 804, I'd like to move that we approve the design standards variance to the front yard setback standard in chapter 804 of the Monroe County zoning ordinance based on the finding of facts. And I'd like to move that we approve the design standards variance to the side yard setback standard in chapter 804 of the Monroe County zoning ordinance based on the findings of fact with the following conditions. Number one, submit a professional survey showing the proposed garage location and western boundary property line in order to confirm the construction location.
I'll second that.
Please call the roll. Jackie?
Okay, so this will be a variance request or variance approval for 2005-VAR-25A, which is a front setback, and 2005-VAR-25B, which is a side yard setback. Both variances have been motioned for approval based on findings of fact as conditioned in the staff report and mentioned on tonight's hearing. I will call the roll. Margaret Clements?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Mary Beth Kazmarchuk?
Yes.
William Hosea?
Yes.
And Vicky Sorensen?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, Mr. Drews. You have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much for everyone's time. May you all have a great 4th of July and be safe.
You too, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I will make a mention that since the agenda has been published, we do have one staff continuance, and that is item number 5, which is 2006-VAR-31, the Monroe side yard setback variance. So if we want to get to that and move that we continue it at tonight's hearing, or we can do that now.
We can do that now if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay. So, hang on. I'm looking. Sorry.
You're good.
Okay. We just want to make a motion that this be continued. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, I hereby move that we continue case number 2006-VAR-31, Monroe side yard setback variance from chapter 804. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Okay. Motion is to continue the Monroe side setback variance 2006-VAR-31. I'll go ahead and call the roll. Mary Beth Kismarchuk,
Yes.
William Hosea,
You're muted, William.
Yes.
Thank you.
Vicki Sorensen,
Yes.
and Margaret Clemens.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and our next case up is case number 2006-VAR-29-30. Drew?
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with a summary and background for this petition. Jackie, if you could go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so the petitioner requests 2 design standards variances from Chapter 804 in order to build a 960 square foot pole storage barn on a pre-existing non-conforming lot. The lot contains an existing single-family residence with an attached garage, a carport, and 2 utility sheds. The petitioner's building permit application for a pole barn structure was received by Monroe County Building Department on May 18th. And upon planning staff's review of the application, it was discovered that the petition site does not meet the minimum lot size and the minimum lot width requirements. Planning staff informed the petitioner that the property is allowed to exist as is, but any new development would require the variance process for these 2 variances. There was a neighbor remonstrance letter that was submitted to planning staff, and that letter is included in this PowerPoint. It cites concerns of an unpermitted auto repair home-based business on the property. We have not been able to confirm that yet, and also the subsequent impacts on property values. Okay, so the property is located at 7875 West Elrin Road. It's in Van Buren Township. It's zoned agricultural rural reserve with the surrounding parcels also zoned agricultural rural reserve. There is some suburban residential in the nearby area. Comprehensive plan has it designated as rural residential. Here we have some site conditions and the slope map. There's no known karst features on the property, no FEMA floodplain, and there's no slopes greater than 15% on the property as well. Here we have some site photographs. This is of the driveway cut off of West Elrin Road. Here we have some photographs of the property, a little bit of a side yard view here, and then the bottom right photograph of the single family residence that's present on the property. Now we're walking around to the right of the home. This is the view of the backyard of the 2 utility sheds and the chain link fence, as well as the right photograph, the carport there that you can see in the midground. Some more photographs of the backyard where the proposed pole storage barn will be placed. And here we have some aerial photographs of the petition site. This is the letter to the Board of Zoning Appeals from the petitioner that states his intent to build a storage garage 30 by 32 is for storage as attested in this letter. And it will be built in this location, as you can see on the site plan maps here. It will meet all other design standards. The only thing that we're petitioning here is for the minimum lot size because it's 0.55 acres instead of the required 2.5 acres. And it is 142 feet wide at building line when the requirement is 200 feet. So this was the remonstrance letter that planning staff received. As I stated before, it is of concern. It is citing concerns of property value impacts of the proposed construction, and the concerned neighbor was also stating that she believes there is a unpermitted home-based business going on the property. So overall, planning staff recommends approval of the design standards variance, chapter 804, for both the minimum lot size and the minimum lot width based on the findings of fact. And I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
I have a question. Drew, on page 36 on findings, it says the septic system will be interfered, but on page 37, it says it will not be interfered.
That is likely a typo. I apologize for that.
All right. I just wanted
Thank
to
you
make
for
sure
catching
about
that. Absolutely.
Good job, Vicki. Any other questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, is the petitioner here?
I'm here, but I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, great. Yes, I can hear me, Smith.
Okay, would you like to speak, sir?
Well,
Let me swear you in. If you're,
okay, yeah, please.
you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you, sir. You may proceed.
Well, I'm not sure which, I'm pretty sure I know which neighborhood it is, but I've never, I mean, you can see I've got one little race car there. Other than that, I've never done more than change oil on my wife's vehicle here. So I'm not real sure. I'm not trying to point fingers or anything, but I'm not so sure they don't mean the neighbor. But either way, I don't work on cars here. I work in Indianapolis on forklifts, and so forklifts can't be drove in gravel. They'll sink through when it's wet. So either way, I don't work on anything here, so I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, but either way, that's really the only thing I have. I think my lot's plenty big enough for it. So
Okay, sir. Any questions for the petitioner?
I don't think so at the moment.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Smith? No, seeing none. Okay, is there anyone else here to speak on behalf of the petition?
I don't see anyone.
Anyone here that wishes to speak against the petition? Seeing none, does somebody wish to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, case number 2006-VAR-29-30, design standard variances. I recommend we approve the design standard variance of chapter 804 for minimum lot size based on findings of facts, and approve design standards variance of chapter 804 for minimum lot width based on findings of fact at 7875 West Elwyn Road.
Second.
Please call the roll, Jackie.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the minimum lot size and the minimum lot width for the petition 2006-VAR-29 and 30. motion to approve is to move the variance forward. William Hosea,
Yes.
Vicky Sorensen,
Yes.
Margaret Clemens,
Yes.
Mary Beth Kismarchuk.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 4-0.
Okay. Thank you. You have a good day, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. You guys have a wonderful holiday.
You too. Okay, next case number 2006-VAR-32. Rebecca?
Hello again. So this is a variance request to the minimum lot size from Chapter 804. Next slide, Jackie, please. So the petitioners in this case are requesting one design standard variance for the purpose of building an addition to their existing single-family home. The addition will be 26 feet by 40 feet and will serve as a garage with an upstairs that includes 2 bedrooms, a bath, and a small living area. And the proposed addition will meet all other design standards, including setbacks and open space requirements, as well as buildable area requirements. The petition site is located at 7996 West Howard Road and is zoned agricultural rural reserve. Sorry, Jackie, flip back one more. Okay, so if we look at site conditions, there aren't any karst features on the site, and there is no flood zone either. Now you can flip slides. There is some slope present on the parcel, but none where they intend to put their addition. And it in the comp plan has it designated as farm and forest. Okay, next slide. All right, so here we have some site photos. Photo on the left is looking at the petitioner's house from the front. I'm standing in Howard Road right there. Picture on the right is a photo of where they intend to put their addition, building off that side of their house there, which is the north side. Next photo. Again, this is on the left. It's another photo of the existing house and the location of where they want to put the addition. And same thing for the photo on the right. I was just trying to capture where they want to put their addition. Here we have the petitioner's site plan. Here you can see where the addition is from a bird's eye view. Again, it's on the north side. Next slide, Jackie. Here is the petitioner's letter requesting the variance. Next slide. And staff does recommend approving the design standard variance to Chapter 804 for the minimum lot size requirement based on findings of fact.
Any questions for the staff? No questions for Rebecca? Okay.
I have one question. So was the minimum lot size designation in the zoning code, was that approved or instated after the home was built? And why do we have a minimum lot size regulation?
Right. So yeah, this was in the report, but I didn't get it in my slide. The minimum needed is 2.5 acres for this zone, and what they have existing is 1.45.
So was the 2.5 regulation instated after the home was built?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further questions for staff? Seeing none, are the petitioners here? I thought I saw that one of them was here earlier. Is that true?
I do see them,
Hello.
yes.
Hello.
Hi, yes, this is Casey and Emily Mahaffey, the petitioners.
Would you like to say something or?
Not particularly. We're just
Okay.
looking forward to getting this project going, if at all possible.
All right, no need to swear you in then unless somebody has questions for them. Anyone else here to speak on behalf of the petition? Hearing none, is anyone here to speak against the petition? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion, please.
Okay, oh, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
You gonna help us out, make the motion for us, William?
Sure.
All right.
Case number 2006-VAR-32, a request for design standards variance, chapter 804, minimum lot size. I recommend we approve the design standards based on findings of facts, and that is at 7996 West Howard Road.
All right. I second that motion. Now you can call that vote.
Okay, we're ready. So the motion is to approve variance 2006-VAR-32, the minimum lot size variance to chapter 804. And I'll go ahead and call a roll. Vicki Sorensen,
Yes.
Margaret Clements,
Yes.
Mary Beth Kismarcher,
Yes.
and William Hosea.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Have a good evening and enjoy that nice new addition. That'll be a very nice place, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all your help.
Okay, and last case up, we have case number 2006 CDU-01 Stafford conditional use. Tammy?
Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. So this is a conditional use for the use historic adaptive reuse. Jackie, I'll let you go through the slide. This is a 1.66 acre lot that's located at 5598 East Ward Lane. And this is kind of at the intersection of East State Road 45 and North Russell Road. There was a large highway improvement here about 2 or 3 decades ago, which took some right of way from this property. And there is a set of railroad tracks that runs right adjacent to the property as well. It's zoned suburban residential, also in the Eco 3 overlay, and was recently added the historic preservation overlay to the property, which I'll go into more detail in a moment. The comp plan has it as farm and forest, and then these are some of the basic site conditions. As I mentioned, there's a railroad there to the east, and then several roads kind of like joined together right just south of their lot. So ordinance 2020-27 added the historic preservation overlay to this petition site on June 3rd, 2020. And basically, by them going through this documented process and getting approved this through the commissioners, it has sort of activated this special historic adaptive reuse that they can ask for on the property. You can kind of see the barn in the right-hand side of this picture. This is an older historic picture when the highway actually was what is now East Ward Lane. And now it kind of runs behind the barn there. So what the petitioners have started doing is relocating this barn, and they would like to ask for it to be added to be a tourist home. So part of the historic preservation overlay, we did an analysis of the site and documented all the historic structures that are on site. We are looking at number 2, which is the barn, and this is what they are hoping to convert into a tourist home. Number 1 is their existing home. So this will be kind of a unique situation that usually we allow 1 primary use per lot. And in this case, if this is approved, they will have 2 uses. They'll have the primary residence and the additional tourist home use. We don't normally come across this, but because of the historic adaptive reuse that they're asking for, this may make it a possibility for them. So Next slide. These were just some of the contributing buildings. And again, number 2 there is the Traverse 3-bay barn constructed between 1890 and 1900 that they have started some restoration work on. Next. And these are a couple of the slides that they submitted of the existing barn before the construction project started. Next. And then this is what has, this is a transition stage. So they were issued improvement location permit 19 RA-130, and this was to allow for the relocation of it. But we specifically put on the permit that it was for residential storage and workspace only, no commercial activity or dwelling use. And they did provide a septic permit with this, which allowed for 1+ bedrooms. And I did confirm this with the health department recently. So, they would have to ask for a new permit if they get the historic adaptive reuse to allow for the conversion of this into more of that residential use as a tourist home and make sure it meets all of those standards as well. So this, we actually have April 2020 aerials, which is the one down on the bottom there. And you can see where the barn has been dismantled and relocated. Next slide. And then this is just a different angle where you can see on the left where the barn was originally and how close it was to the right of way. Again, that highway did not exist there about 25 years ago or so. And so now they're actually making sure that the new barn where it's being relocated is meeting all setback requirements. The septic permit or the septic system they have proposed is going to go just to the south of the structure there as well, and still preserve all their other elements. And this is what it looks like roughly today when you go on site. So they're kind of on a holding pattern. They want to make sure that they can do this historic adaptive reuse because by allowing for the tourist home or this like secondary residence, they'll be able to gain some income to help offset the cost of restoring this barn. They will also be working very closely with the Historic Preservation Board to make sure that all of the aspects of the exterior of the barn kind of fit with the character of the site and with the time period. And that process is called a certificate of appropriateness. So they'll be going back to the Historic Preservation Board to ask, for their design to get approved with a site plan. And then from there, we can reissue the permit for them to do this like additional use on the property. Next slide. So this is the petitioner's letter. They address in this letter and kind of sign off that they will meet all of these special conditions associated with not only the conditional use, but also the specific historic adaptive reuse. And calling attention to that second page, letter C, just honing in on that. Their goal is to establish a tourist home sufficient to generate revenue that may offset the considerable expense associated with the barn's restoration, and the primary residence shall not be vacated by the owners. So they will have these two uses kind of coinciding on this lot. Next slide. This is the site plan that they originally provided with the building permit application that allows them to have this currently as a storage structure. But again, they're here asking to upgrade this to a permit that they can ask for that will allow for this secondary tourist home use. So the recommended motion is to approve the conditional use request for historic adaptive reuse based on the findings of fact. Does anyone have any questions?
Anyone have any questions for staff? Sorry about my dog. Is the petitioner here?
Yeah,
Mary?
I did see Phil Stafford is available if you
Did you
need
have
to
a
ask.
question, Vicki?
I do. So do they need our approval to be able to move forward, or are they just going through a process of trying to get all the different approvals?
Right. So this is, anyone could ask to get a historic preservation overlay to do that rezone. And it's kind of a service that the county offers for free. This is something that they're asking special. They're trying to activate this historic adaptive reuse. So they went through the first step of just adding this zoning overlay to it. So this is like their bonus thing. This is what they're asking for. And yes, they do need approval for this part of the process.
Okay. Yeah, and you said the petitioner is here. Would you like to speak?
Well, I guess so. Maybe you should swear me in.
Okay, I can do that, sir. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to.
You want to state your name for us real quick?
I'm sorry. I'm Philip Stafford, the owner of the property in question, one of the owners. I wanted to thank Tammy Behrman for her professional approach to this project. She's been very, very helpful. And we are working closely with the Historic Preservation Review Board. I used to be a member up until a couple of years ago. So the next step, if this is approved, is to seek the certificate of appropriateness, which will allow us to make the changes to the exterior of the barn that are historically appropriate for the structure so that it's not significantly changed. There are some issues with turning a structure like this into a tourist home, having to do with fenestration and the emission of light into the interior. Barns in 1890 were pretty dark, and but we will work closely with the review board to walk that line to try to find meet the appropriate standards that will allow us to generate some income on this property, which will help us pay for its restoration. It doesn't have a whole lot of number of years left. There's some significant damage to the bottom of the posts, most of the posts in the barn, and but it's a lovely structure. Timber frame barn, mortise and tenon, no nails in it. It was all put together with wooden pegs. Wow. And it's a structure worth saving. And this is one of the ways we think we can do that. So we would appreciate your consideration.
Any questions for the petitioner? That's an amazing looking barn you have there, sir. It's always a shame to see the old ones fall down. No questions for the petitioner? Okay. Is anybody else here wish to speak on behalf of the petition?
I would like to speak on behalf.
Okay. And swear you in?
Sure.
Can you state your name?
Danielle Bachant Bell.
All right. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can proceed.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Monroe County Historic Preservation Board of Review as their chair, as well as one of two of our board members who are on the board of the Indiana Barn Foundation, which is the statewide nonprofit organization devoted to saving Indiana's barns in any way that we can. So this is, as we know, reusing barns is one of the critical ways of saving them, and finding ways that they can generate income is very often what is needed when they're reused, whether it's for a farming operation or for housing. There's a lot of great examples of houses, being in barns, things like that. So our board is very supportive, both of our boards, and I'm speaking on behalf of both boards, the Preservation Board as well as the Indiana Barn Foundation, that we are very supportive of this project, and seeing it reused in this way is a good example for people, not only just locally, but around the state, as to how you can reuse your barn, how you can save it, because we're losing them every day, no matter what we do to try to save them. So we would love to see this this petition move forward with approval as a really good example locally here in Monroe County. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Danielle? Okay, thank you. I agree. The old barns, I think they're beautiful. Okay, is anyone else wish to speak on behalf of the petition? Seeing or hearing none, does anyone wish to speak against the petition? Okay, not even a cat. Got it.
I don't see anyone.
Okay. All right, ready for a motion, I believe.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, great.
Go ahead.
Case number 2006-CDU-001, Stafford Conditional Use, located at 5598 East Ward Lane. I move we approve the conditional use request for historic adaptive reuse based on the findings of fact.
I second the motion.
Call roll for us, Jackie. Thank you.
Okay, so this is on petition 2006-CDU-01, the Stafford conditional use. And there's a recommendation to move forward with approval based on the findings of fact. Margaret Clements,
Yes.
Mary Beth Kismarchik,
Yes.
William Hosea,
Yes.
Vicky Sorensen.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved 4-0.
Thank you, Mr. Stafford, and I look forward to seeing that beautiful barn when you get it all restored.
Thank you.
Good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Does look like a big job.
Oh, yes.
Without a doubt. Okay, are we done? Do we have anything from legal or anything that we need to? Anything?
Dave, do you have anything?
You have anything for us, Dave?
You're on mute.
No, I do not, but thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
We'll keep everyone updated on the next meeting if we can host that via Zoom. It's kind of a changing landscape every day. So, but for now, we'll just keep it by Zoom.
I do miss my beautiful courthouse, though. Okay, motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Everybody have a good evening.